Okay, welcome back guys, Andrew Dwight here. We're going to talk about imperial units and we've got several questions here from our American users. So let's get into it now. Okay, so first question, can I write factional measures? The answer is yes. There are several things that you can do here, and this is I guess a bit of maintenance. We've gone to window and we're going to go to model info, and you can choose how you plan to put your input in. Now I'm going to go in here fractional, and the precision, I'm going to go say 1/8. You're going to have to forgive me with my imperial, even though I still call a piece of 2x4 4x2. It's just because I was taught by an old school carpenter. So we've got the metric system here in Australia. Okay, so I've changed that, and basically it's changed Sketchup itself. Now inside of Plusspec, you can actually go into the bottom down here and go to the settings, and you can choose the library that you want to use, in this case United States, and I understand that some of Canada still uses imperial and metric, and you can go ahead and do that. Okay, and you can choose how would you like to type in, and I would usually think that if I was in America I'd be writing in 8.5 feet or 8.5 feet, and here just also go submit. Here's your currency, sorry, so go submit. Okay, and now, and go submit again, and now remember those preferences. So if I go to a wall here, and it's the first time Plusspec's opening up, okay, and you can see there that I've got 8.5 feet, but you know what, I might actually like to write in 8.5 feet, 8.5 feet, okay, and our window height might be 7 feet or whatever it is, and I go submit. I can go and draw my wall now, and essentially if I wanted to edit my wall, so I can either right click and go to walls, or I can go down to walls here, walls, edit wall. The method that I chose to write it in is saved. Okay, it took us a long while to develop that specifically for America, and it's been done now. We can also change a couple of other things like pitches to ratios and so on. So I think that answers question number 1 there. Can I add more components to my library? Okay, just as per SketchUp before, you still have libraries, and you can have your own libraries here. So I guess if you're going to create your own component with the BIM tool, you can save it into your libraries or into your favorites. You might be referring to the Plusspec library, and if that's the case, just let us know, and if any other users out there want to save to these libraries, let us know, and I'm sure we can come up with a solution there for you. You also have Trimble Connect where you can save things as well. One thing about walls, if there's a particular type of wall you like to use, you can actually save it inside of your default template, and you can right click a wall and you can go to walls, and you can go create similar walls. So if you've gone through and there's a particular wall type you use on 99% of your houses or structure, you can go and save that into your default template. Then you can click it and create a similar wall like this. You see, and all the same properties of this wall will come into here, and we can simply go and start to draw this wall like this. Okay, hope that helps you out there. Control Z, and I'm going to undo that. Cancel. Can I save my favorite wall type? That was the answer to the question. Okay, let's have a look. Does a Plusspec driven model contain BIM classifications so that you can, sorry I didn't write that, I just copied and pasted it, export to IFC and also upload to Trimble Connect? The answer is yes. So if I click on anything, if you ever see that you don't have a defined here, you might find that you actually haven't imported your classifications, and I did get this question the other day, so I go into here and go open my IFC, which is in SketchUp 16 classifications, and go open. Okay, and this is the classification system we're going to use. All right, I've already done that. Okay, and now if I go and draw some walls, we'll find that everything will be IFC. Okay, we've got IFC wall there. If I put a window in, it'll be an IFC window. If I put a roof in, it'll be IFC roof. So let's have a look. So the classifications are automatically done according to what it is you're going to put in. So we obviously might want to use ratio here in the USA. Submit. Okay. I now have an IFC roof. If I put stairs in, I've got the same thing. All of my IFC is getting done automatically, which is great when you're exporting to Revit or you're exporting to Archicad or whatever other software that you were using. You now have your classifications done for you. It's very easy to do and it's automated. If you have any more questions on that, please don't hesitate to give us a call or send us an email. Does a consultant need to be able to read the comments? Does a consultant need to have Plusspec to be able to read the comments? Drew in the USA, not to be confused with Drew who works for us. Okay, no, the answer is no. Okay, so if I went up to here and I put in a tag and I chose, say, a safety tag, and this is a confined space tag, so I might put it down here. Okay, you'll notice here that it also has the IFC classification. The consultant can actually still do these inside of Sketchup without Plusspec, and they can annotate and they can reply and so on. So it's very handy to be able to communicate with people that aren't using Plusspec. We will be making a plugin specifically for this as well. They don't have full functionality, but they can reply and they can associate other information with that tag. Okay, get out of that. Okay, does the window estimate create a window schedule? Does this work with remodeling projects? Okay, so there's 3 questions here. This is from Matthew in the USA. Being able to separate new from existing conditions. Okay, that's a good question, Matt. So, does a window estimate create a window schedule? Okay, so if I went and put windows in, our windows will turn out in our takeoff. Okay, submit, and I'll put, say, 2 different windows in here. Now we have a tab as well, so if you click here, you'll create a whole heap of scenes and it'll automatically separate your windows from the geometry. Okay, so if I click this here now and go OK, probably really should be doing it over here. I'll just cancel that. So let's go to here to quickly create these scenes. Okay, and now if I go to, if I'm looking through my scenes here, you can see that it's just been created. I can now go to my window schedule. Sorry about this, guys. I've actually set this up on layers, and that's, so we have a window schedule. You can export that into layout. I actually did a video on that yesterday, and you can see that in the previous video. Okay, so let's go back to our questions. Okay. Does a window estimate create a window schedule? Does this work with remodeling projects? So I assume that what that means is, does Plusspec work with remodeling projects? Yes, and very much so. So for instance, when we're actually drawing things, we have the opportunity to say whether it's existing or whether it's going to be demolished. Okay, so we've got a wall here, and we also have these tick boxes here, so it's existing. If I click existing, nothing that I draw will estimate. I'll just show you. Okay, you'll notice that they're red by default. Okay, that's because it's an existing structure, and you wouldn't really want to bump that existing structure and move it around and do the wrong thing, so they're locked. But if I did a takeoff now, or a bill of quantities, you'll notice it come out with 0. There's nothing in there to quote because it's obviously existing. Now, if I went in here and I actually changed one wall to demolition, go back to my wall, or I could right click and go to wall edit settings, and I said, okay, well this wall here is actually going to be demolished. Submit. It's still red, but we want to rip this wall down so that we can actually extend this particular property. Right, so watch what happens when I do a takeoff now. So for remodeling, it's perfect. It's actually telling me everything I need to throw away. Right. So now I know everything that has to be thrown in the bin. That's really handy. Especially because a lot of the times you know, we do want to throw things in the bin. And you know what, and I might even just undo that. Let's go undo, so that way the wall's gone back to existing. I can now split this walls, and split wall, say here and here, and go enter. And now you notice that I have 3 walls. But if I check this, I'll go about it the other way, edit wall. This is still existing, and I undid the demolition before, Control Z, and this one here would be demolished. So let's see if I can show you that. Right click, walls, edit wall, and now what I can do is say, okay, I want to demolish this. Just demolish the center part of the wall and go submit. And now I'll only calculate the quantities in the center here that I'm going to do. Okay, and we might want to put an extension on top of that, or a renovation, or however you like to call it. And we would go in here and go to our wall tool. Now obviously we want to turn it off demolition, and we want to turn it off existing. So we don't have these two clicked. We go submit. And depending on how you're going to link it in, you know, you might actually want to start from the inner side here. That would be, you know, up to you how you want to go about that. I clicked escape there, sorry guys. And if you're going to separate your bricks or whatever it is you're going to do, you might want to actually just work from your window, from your structure here. Oops. Structure. Where is it? Okay, structure. Okay. We might say, well, we actually want to start drawing our wall from here. Okay. Now, I can change the sides of my wall, so I'm actually going to draw anti-clockwise here. So I would actually go to my right arrow, and you can notice that I lined up with my structure there, and back across to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push shift so I can figure out where I'm going to line it up with. So I'm going to line it up with here, and okay, if I go back to all, you'll notice that I have that there. I can turn my demolition off if I choose. I actually drew that around the wrong way, so if I wanted to I can undo that, and I can start from the other side if I choose. So if I want to go from the outside of the wall, same thing. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, you know, how you want to go about doing things here. Right, and now I have everything that I need to do on that extension. If I wanted to add a roof into this area only, and in this area I'd just still create this roof here as existing. So right click, walls, generate roof from walls. Okay, choose the pitch and so on, because this would be the existing. One thing I forgot to do is make it existing, so I'd go back to it. I can either go back to my menu or right click menu and just call it existing. You'll notice that they go blue and red. Okay, it's an existing roof. Submit. Right, there you go, we have that blue in there. So I think that answers the question. Does a window estimate create a window schedule? Does this work with remodeling projects? Yes, very much so. Being able to separate new from existing conditions, Matthew, I think we answered that one right there. I'll just, you know what, I won't be able to delete some of this, you'll see, because it's locked. If you want to override it, and you can simply go unlock, and then you can delete it. Okay. Alright, what's the next question here? How do you take the model and then a set of plans? Okay, you'll notice in the previous video that I actually showed you how to do that. Essentially what it is file send to layout. Because I've got all of these questions in here, it's going to look a little bit messy, but these elevations and so on, actually I'll just undo what I just did before, and you are going to see this is messy, so because of all these words here. Really the best way to deal with this is just to turn the layers off for that. I'm going to hide it for the moment. Okay, and then I would then go file, save my model, and send to layout, and you'll notice that there's going to be a layout for documentation video coming up shortly. That'll be our next tutorial. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. I'm going to undo that so I have all my text back. Thanks for the question, Mark. Is energy analysis in Sketchup using Plusspec possible, and what program is compatible? We are not exporting to energy analysis programs yet. although we will be in the future. And if you're interested in that and you're involved in that industry, by all means give us a call and we'll see what we can organise there for you. I think we have the attributes to be able to do it. It'd be nice if the world could get on one page there and get serious about climate change. Every country seems to have a different thing, so at the moment the answer is no, but for America, yes, I think it is possible to do, and yes, we could do it. At the moment we are not doing it, although we do have all of our insulation properties and so on inside of here. The more manufacturers that get involved with this, that contact us and we put them in, we'll put the properties in, so when we do it, the architects and designers will be able to do their energy assessments. Okay, is the job description categories list customizable? Okay, I assume that you're talking about this list down here. If we're missing something, let us know. I do know there is a typo there that will be fixed before you get this version. But you can write in whatever you want to there. So you can easily write in anything here in your categories. And when you do a takeoff, it'll come through in there as well. So go submit, do a takeoff, and you'll notice the gibberish that I just wrote in there now comes under the bushfire category and the wind classification. Yet it is possible for us to change it. I thought we covered most of the bases there according to our existing American users, but by all means let us know and we'll see what we can come back with. Okay, in the USA we use S for switch. Okay, I understand that everyone's going to have different symbols, and usually in layout I would actually use some switches, and you'll notice if you've been watching Master Sketchup, Matt Donnelly's videos, he's created a whole heap of symbols for you in layout which you can overlay if you choose. Yet I think to make that even easier, if you have a particular manufacturer of switches over there, and I'll just show you what ours come out like here. I'll go to say a switch. Probably easy if I just do this. Say a switch, and I go submit. And I go and put my switch on this wall, say, or wherever I'm going to put it. I've got a lock component there. Put it on the floor. Okay, that switch there it has two round symbols. You could write an S inside of them if you choose, yet if you actually put us in contact with the right person inside of your company that deals with a manufacturer of switches and so on, we can customize it to suit yourself. So you have two options there. Okay. Just delete that out of there. Okay, what's our next question? That was from Matt D. Has there been any changes to create specific wall compositions, especially for imperial? Okay, the thing is with Plusspec, it's customizable to anything, but I assume there's a particular wall type that you use all the time, and it might be, say, this wall type here. I can actually save that in my template, so I might say, okay, well, and I'll even start up a new model and paste it in there, say, so I might go here, start up a new model, started 2 there by mistake, close. If you go edit paste in place, it'll actually put it where I took that wall from, okay, there, but you might say, okay, well, I just want to hide it and save it in my template, so I might go file, save as template, and now I can actually go right click, walls, and generate, create similar wall, and now I have that saved in every single model that I want to do. If I push save as template, now I can continue to draw. Okay, I hope that answers that question for you. Get back to the model I was using. Not sure if anyone else has seen that come up before, but if you don't click and hold on the model you want to go back to, sometimes it'll go back to the one you're looking at. Okay, has there been any wall compositions? There is one other thing too, and I think I did it in one of the previous videos. I've kind of lost track a little bit now. You can go in and you can change. So multi-wall is the best place to do that. So multi-skin wall, and inside of here you have materials. And you know what, you might always want it to be an external cladding. Go in and click create material. It might be a weatherboard or timber cladding or logs or anything like that. And essentially you can choose an image that you've taken or a tileable texture, and you can swap this out and you can change the actual thickness of that there. So therefore, if you said, okay, well, it's an inch thick cladding that you're going to use, well, then that would be where I would change the thickness. You can then drag and drop this directly into Plusspec. Okay, hope that answers that question for you. Any chance of auto dimensioning coming online soon? There's so many places to dimension from. I don't know, look, if people send us some information or some examples or screen videos of how they wanted to do it and put it on our forum, we will definitely look at it. We have the capacity to add auto dimensioning. As you can see, when I start to draw, we've automatically got the dimensions coming out in our walls. So you can see in here, this is 203 inches because I'm working in inches. So it is something we can do, and if I go back to here, we can still see that's 233 inches. We can auto dimension now. I'd like to know what you would be particularly the best way to do that, because as I drew that there, I could have dimensions come up on all of these walls here. Yet in layout, I find that I actually would dimension in layout more so than I would in SketchUp. So look, it would be very easy for us to right click and go walls, add dimensions. It's just, where do you want to dimension from? Do you want to dimension from the inside of the wall? Do you want to dimension from the outside of the wall? You know, do you want to dimension height? There's, you know, a few variables that we could have, but by all means, let us know a little bit more information. If any other users want that, let us know. That was from Michael M. The next question from Michael is, we have fairly detailed drawings with window casings, entry door sashing, column frieze. How can we get to this level? Maybe a training session? Yes, I think a training session would help. Although what I would do, just to say we were going to have some particular type of door sill in here. I really should be turning the structure off here because you can see it there. So I went structure off. And we're going to have a special door sill underneath here. And we might be something like this. I won't get too carried away here. And we can push and pull. And we might say, okay, well, it's going to have a slope on it, so I might move this back to here and maybe recess it down a little bit, half an inch say, and move this down so we have a slope. And whatever we're going to do, you know, it could go back in like this, I don't know, however you'd like to make your door sills. I would then use the BIM tool, go to here, BIM tool, and write in what it is. And essentially, so we might call this sill. The brand, it might be generic or it might be custom made. It might be that we need to give it an item code, so we might call it custom sill. And we'll add it to a layer, obviously, so you can go through and choose a whole heap of layers that you have there. And the location, I probably wouldn't put that in because you're going to use it in several spots. And IFC classification, you can go through and do that. Do you want to charge an install price or so on, or is it just for documentation? And then go submit. And then what I would do is I would actually save it into my library. So you would notice if I clicked over here and said in model, I will get that still coming up. So name it something you remember what it is. It'll take a while to go through everything that's inside of here. And I can't even remember what I called that one there, but I will have a sill in here. There we go, sill. You can then go and place it where you want it to go inside of SketchUp, or you can save it in your default template. Let's go back and see if there's anything else that I missed there. I think one thing important for everyone to remember, that you are still inside of SketchUp and you can do whatever you want to do, whether you want to create a curved roof or whatever it might be. You can go and create your curves, and you can use that BIM tool to call anything that you want. I don't know why anyone would create a window like this, a roof like this, but push, and you can go and call that whatever you want with that BIM tool. It's a really powerful tool. Go back to the BIM tool, call it what you want it to do. Sure, you'll only have the parametrics of SketchUp, but you know what? SketchUp's powerful. You can do a lot of things with this, and if we were going to have the roof coming along here, we might say, okay, well, here and here, and right, you can do some really cool things and customize your designs, and that's the big benefit of SketchUp. It's a fantastic tool that I'm sure that would help you cover whatever it is. You know, just because you're using Plusspec doesn't mean you don't use SketchUp. I think you're missing out on some of the cool things about SketchUp if you did. But if you do want to quantify it, use the BIM tool, and then it'll come through into your takeoffs. But a training session, if you want a training session, Michael, by all means contact us and we'll get back to you with that. What's the next question that I have here? Trusses hardware library for hangers, straps, laterals, ties, etc. We can do that, guys, no problems at all. You let us know. I know that we've got 6 Simpson strong tie here. It doesn't matter whether it's electrical or whatever, we can have them in either by automation. So if the company said to us, we want to have all of our straps and ties included in our trusses, then that is what we would do. Will you all be at base camp this year? Daniel S. Yes. Looking forward to base camp. You'll see me around there, and it looks as though Drew might be coming over with us. We always like to support our friends over there at SketchUp, and we'll show you some really cool things that we can do while we're there. Are you a robot? Bob the Architects from Mars. My wife thinks I'm a tool, but that's another story altogether. Simple demo of piping tool. Okay, right, so inside of Plusspec, we now have some MEP tools, and we will be increasing on them, so feedback is much appreciated. So things like air conditioning, cold, hot water, ducting. I'm working in imperial here. I don't know what your standard size pipe is here. I'm guessing you're probably a 2-inch pipe. So shift 2-inch pipe, and this is the accuracy of the circle. I can go in here and I can start to draw my pipes. I can do them anywhere freehand like this, but understand when you actually want to do that, you might want to make them work inside of a wall. So let's have a look at structure. Okay, so we might have a lead in from the road, and this might be, say, the road over here, and we're going to have a lead in to, say, under here and then over to here, and it might come up the wall, say, here. And you can notice here it's starting to snap to different directions. I actually want it to go vertically up. So what I've done is I pushed the up arrow on my keyboard, right? I can type in a measurement if I chose, so I might say 22 and enter, and then I can go whichever direction that I choose here. So if I'm using my left key, you'll notice it's gone on the green. If I use my right, it's gone inside of the wall. And if I go back to my left key again, I can put those pipes inside of my walls, which is very handy to do because now we can see, well, add in information that might be a problem. You know, if you put a window through pipes, you'll see what happens there. It's fantastic. You can edit these pipes in with SketchUp tools if you chose. So I might say, okay, well, all I want to do is move this pipe here, and I can drag it individually, or I can scale that and do whatever it is that I wanted to do. It will give me a quantity of pipes, yet the main reason we put this tool in is so that we can get air conditioning through trusses, joists, and so on. One of the biggest problems on site was that a lot of things that weren't thought about were the simple things that we do every day on every job. So air conditioning is a big one, running it through steel beams and so on. Let's just see if I finish that up. Simple demo. Will the recording be available after, Russ? I guess if you're watching that, you already know the answer to the question. Essentially, the video that we created on GoToMeeting didn't take as much information. It was a little bit crappy, so we're actually going through and recording all the answers and loading them up. So we're on the 4th video now, and there might be a couple more videos to come. I hope that helps out, guys. Thanks for watching, and look, I'll be over in the US shortly. I look forward to saying g'day if you're at base camp. If you haven't been to base camp before, guys, fantastic place. Everyone's nice. You know, and I usually enjoy a couple of cold drinks with everyone after. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Don't forget to go to www.plusspec.com. You can go through to our forum and you can write in more information. I'll see if I can get that up now. Plusspec, and at the in here we have everything that you could need to know, facts, forums, right? So if you went to the forum, you can go and write your questions in there. So if you're not registered, register. And we will get back to all of these. It's very important to us to keep in contact with our clients. And you'll notice there's a North America area there, South America area. So go through. This has just been set up specifically for this. So yep, and we'll see if we can answer all of your questions if there are more. Thanks for your time again, guys. I'll see you in America. Cheers.